Okay guys, it's Jessica D 1987 coming at you guys once again today with the meal portion. We already did the drink portion with the strawberry lemonade made from scratch. And today I am making shepherd's pie for my family. And in this pot, this frying pan, I have about 14 Italian sausages, the mild kind, because I have young children. I don't want to be too spicy. I just took it out of the casing and broke it up as it was browning. And once it browned completely, I drained off the excess fat that was on there, put it back into the same hot frying pan, and seasoned it up. It already has seasoning in the sausage, but I added some salt, pepper, a little bit more red pepper flakes, just a little bit, some cumin, paprika, excuse me, and some chili powder. But you can add whatever seasonings you have in your pantry, whatever spices you have. You have poultry seasoning, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, whatever you have, kind of add it to your liking, to your taste. And you're just going to let it cook through all of the meat. Keep it moving around because you don't want it to stick or burn or anything like that. And you want to make sure there is no pink left in this meat. And I'm using Italian sausage because it's what I had in my freezer. But you can use ground beef, ground turkey, ground chicken, ground pork. Pretty much any meat that you like or you have or what's on sale pretty much. Like I said, this is what I had, so this is what I'm using. Also in this back pot over here, I have some russet potatoes. You can use Yukon Gold, red potatoes, whatever you have at home or whatever is on sale. And I cut them into about 1-inch pieces, if you guys can see that. And I have it in a big pot, and I just covered it with enough water to come across the top of the potatoes. And I'm going to bring it up to a boil. It's going to boil about 8 or 9 minutes until the potatoes are tender. And what this is going to make is going to make our mashed potatoes, which is the topping for our shepherd's pie. And this Italian sausage here is going to be the bottom layer of our shepherd's pie. And there's going to be 2 more layers in between there. And I'll show you guys when we get to that part. So stay tuned and I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back. I'm showing you now the top layer of the shepherd's pie. Remember, we already browned off the bottom layer, which was the ground meat, and I used Italian sausage. So in this pot back here, I have about 8 large russet potatoes that I've cut into about 1-inch pieces. Put it in a pot, covered it with a little bit of water, just enough to come to the surface of the potatoes. Let it boil till it was tender, about 8 or 9 minutes. Drained it, put it back in that same hot pot, and the heat is on about low. And to those potatoes, I'm going to add some salt, and this is just kosher salt that I'm using, but if you have table salt or sea salt, by all means use that. And potatoes, they need a lot of salt because they are bland. So I'm adding in the salt here. And I'm going to add in a little bit of ground pepper, ground black pepper. Add as much or as little as you like. Also, one thing I forgot, I like to add a little bit of green. And here I just have some dried parsley flakes. Now to that, I'm going to add about 6 to 8 tablespoons of butter, depending on how much you like. And you can use margarine as well. I'm just going to break it up a little bit. Okay, you're going to add the butter to the pot. Alright. And also, something I like to add, which is completely optional, I like to add a couple of tablespoons of sour cream. You can use light or full fat. Just a couple of tablespoons. And if you don't have sour cream, don't worry about it. And the last thing you need is some type of liquid. You can use low-fat milk, whole milk. I usually have whole milk in my house because I have children, infants that need to have whole milk. And today I'm making it extra special with adding a little bit of heavy whipping cream. And you just want to start with a little bit because you don't, I like mine to be pretty stiff, especially for this dish. So you're going to take your potato masher, like the one I showed you earlier that I used for the strawberries. And you're just going to mash away. And you're going to mash it to be as smooth or as chunky as you like it. Usually my family likes a little bit chunky potatoes, but I'm going to do a little bit smoother because we're going to use this to top the shepherd's pie. Okay, and it should go really, really quickly. Just get in there and mash away. And I would say I used about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of heavy whipping cream, and that just happened to be just the right amount that I needed for the mashed potatoes. And to kick up these mashed potatoes a little bit more, I'm going to end up adding some pieces of crispy bacon to it. And you don't have to do that. You can add ranch dressing. If you want to have ranch tasting potatoes, you can add garlic powder to have garlic mashed potatoes. You can use cheese if you want to have cheesy mashed potatoes. But this is what it should look like. A nice, thick, stiff potato. I'm going to turn off the heat on that. And then the next step, I'm going to show you guys how to make the second layer that's going to go on top of the ground meat, which is the bacon and onion gravy. Stay tuned, guys.